The Watermark at the Pearl offers a pet-friendly urban environment for older adults that also includes on-site wellness and dining. Located in Portland's vibrant Pearl District, the Watermark redefines expectations for senior living. Every day brings enriching opportunities to live fully with connection, creativity, meaning, and purpose. So if you or a loved one are looking for independent or assisted living and/or memory care, visit portlandwatermark.com today. Your story continues at the Watermark at the Pearl. Breakside Brewery is having a month-long holiday pop-up at their Deacom location in Northeast Portland. It's open every day, 11:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Each week has different themes, from home for the holidays to a very trashy Christmas. And there's also festive food and events like bingo and wreath making and pictures with the Grinch. It's open to all ages. No reservations are required. For more details, head over to breakside.com/events. That's breakside.com/events. Today on CityCast Portland, we're digging into the mayor's next set of ambitious goals now that he's crossed unsheltered homelessness off his list. We're also looking into the conservative influencer suing the Portland Police Department for being too liberal, and the uncertain future of a historically black high school in North Portland. Joining me on this week's Friday News Roundup are Willamette Week reporter and author Brianna Wheeler and our very own executive producer, John Notarianni. It's Friday, December 12th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Welcome, everyone, to the Friday News Roundup. Brianna, John, thanks for joining me this morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Today is the day we break down some of the biggest local stories of the week with some of the best and brightest journalists in town. But before we jump into the news, I usually ask our guests an opening question so any of our new listeners can get to know us a little better. And this week's question is related to the fact that today is the final day of our winter membership campaign. So if you've been thinking about joining, today is the last day to sign up and get a cool new CityCast beanie, which I will show you guys now because I don't know if you've seen it, Brianna. Check it out.
Oh, it's so dope. Oh my gosh,
Very
it's
cool.
so dope. So
Could
good.
someone describe it so our listeners could kind of see?
It looks so soft. It looks so cozy. It looks like the kind of beanie where like you could shrink it a little bit so it just sits like on top of your ears too, you know? Like you don't have to go all the way down. You could be like chic about it.
I'm liking this. John, do you have anything to add about the beanie?
I'm just considering these possible future things that the beanie could do that I never thought of. Thank you, Brianna.
Yeah, like slip it to the side, pretend you're French. All of it.
I've actually used it as a little sack.
Take it mushrooming. I mean, searching for wild mushrooms, not
Of course.
psilocybin.
Oh, of course. No. Sometimes I have too many things in my hands when I get out of cars and I don't know what to do. And I took my beanie off and I put it in here.
Claudia, that's genius.
So my question to you two is, if we gave you the opportunity to make any kind of CityCast Portland swag, what would it be? In past membership campaigns, we've made mugs, we've made tote bags, and now we have these multi-purpose use beanies. What are your suggestions for what we make next for our members?
I put a lot of thought into this, and I have come to the conclusion that the perfect swag would be a spatula.
Okay.
Because think about this. Okay, all right. Everybody has a spatula, but it's not the sort of thing that like you ever have too many. It's not like, oh, I already have a spatula, I don't need a second one. And you can like never find one when you need it. And you like leave it out in like a visible place in your house. So like every time you're like making your, I don't know, pancake batter or whatever with your spatula, and it'll say CityCast on it, and you'll think about the show. And yeah, spatula, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
You mix your pancake batter with your spatula?
Well, okay. I was thinking like I guess there's two different types of spatulas. There's like a flippy spatula, and then there's like the rubber, sort of like mixy spatula.
And you're talking about the flippy or...
I was thinking rubber sort of like mixy spatula, but I mean, I guess it could go either way.
Think big.
I'll leave that up to the design team.
A flexible king. What about you, Brianna?
Okay, I did not put a lot of thought into this because it came to me immediately. CityCast leggings. Workout leggings. Claudia's face on one booty cheek. John's face on the other booty cheek. CityCast right across the front. I'm jogging. I'm running through town. I'm advertising I'm at the gym. I'm squatting, and they're getting everybody at the gym's like, CityCast, what? Gotta tune in. You gotta tune in.
Oh my God. How do you feel about that, John?
Truly terrifying idea.
I was hoping that you would say horny.
Would John be the left cheek or the right cheek?
You know what? It's up to John, really.
Oh, it's
I'm
up to
feeling
John.
Left cheek. I'm feeling some strong left cheek energy right now.
Okay.
Can't explain it, but that's where,
All right.
that's what I think.
These are brilliant. What color would they be? Because I'm assuming pink, Brianna, because it's you.
Duh.
Well, thank you both for your answers. Again, today is the final day of our campaign. We are nowhere near our goal. So if you want to help your pals out, we could definitely use it. Just think about it this way. If we've at all made you feel more connected to your city through our podcast and newsletter and want to make that connection a bit more tangible by getting invites to member-only events like the one coming up at the Hollywood Theater or the ones we've had in the past, like our VIP tent to hang out with us at a Pickles game. My sister was there. You would have met her. She's a cool person. Or the neighborhood guide I led in the summer. But there's also ad-free listening, which many say is worth the membership alone, and so many other perks. Only $10 a month or $100 a year, and it directly supports the show you're listening to right now. Start the new year strong. Focus your energy on when you can actually change by investing in local organizations and our communities. Help us keep doing what we do. Head over to membership.citycast.fm for more details. That's membership.citycast.fm. You're going to get that beanie, but maybe next time around, I don't know, John and I in some
At Planet
workout
Fitness.
pants.
On the booty.
Terrorizing rear rows of exercise classes across
don't say
town.
terrorizing. Inspiring.
Inspiring.
Titillating.
All right, guys, on to the news of the week. John, you're kicking us off with the mayor's big plans now that he's solved unsheltered homelessness.
Yeah, the mayor is picking some big targets out there for what he wants to do in 2026. This comes from some great reporting by our friend Shane Dixon Kavanaugh over at the Oregonian. As you mentioned, Claudia, last week, I believe it was last week, I was on the show talking about how the mayor was saying mission accomplished on his big shelter goal of putting out more than 1,500 new shelter beds this calendar year. And what we were saying on last week's show is like, well, now we want to see if he can pivot. Now we want to see what he's got up his sleeve for his next big trick. And I think we found that out this week. He's saying that he wants to take 3 major shots at changes in downtown by 2030. He wants to bring downtown foot traffic back up to pre-pandemic levels. He wants to fill 2 million square feet of vacant office space, and he wants to launch 2,500 new housing units in the urban core. It's a big, ambitious plan. It tackles a lot of things that are really important that our downtown especially urgently needs. And of course, there's a lot of challenges in the way to making these goals happen. Like, for instance, foot traffic downtown is like, estimates range, but it's approximately 40% below what it was before COVID, circa like 2019. About a third of the office space downtown is currently empty. That's roughly 8 million square feet. And we are in just a construction slump citywide. By the end of 2024, it's estimated that only 1,600 new units of construction were being built. That's the lowest that the city has been at since 2011. So yeah, these are all goals with a whole lot of headroom. There's a lot of opportunity for changes here, but they're also really ambitious. And I think it's an interesting big swing. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that's incredibly presumptuous. Mission accomplished? Where? Whom? Where can I see this? Is the mission in the room with us right now? Or big swings, but gosh, I walk downtown and you can kind of see it coming back. You can see it. The energy is coming. The energy is building back up. So like, keep that energy. Let's just keep that energy and keep pushing. I mean, I love the idea of 2,500 new housing units. I hate the idea of all of these empty retail spaces. I want to see like how, because I know that a lot of those spaces are empty and emptying because of skyrocketing rental prices. So like, what's that? What does that conversation look like? Who are we putting in these spaces and how, what's the rubric for like who gets what and how much they get and ...
Okay. So I actually had a more conspiracy
Oh, let's go, Claudia. What do you got?
Okay, here we go. Conspiracy Corner. Again, this is just me, Claudia Meza, just speaking. No facts. You know how our mayor recently forced a resignation of the Portland Housing Authority director, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people could say, hey, this happened because he was really trying to meet his goal. And maybe he saw this person as getting in the way. And of course, he had a date. But part of me was like, do you think he just really wanted to show off at the Oregon Leadership Summit? Do you know, like he wanted to come in strong? Because that's where he announced all these things that he was doing was at this Oregon Leadership Summit, which happens every year, which, by the way, did not get an invite. Did you get an invite, John? I didn't get an invite.
So rude.
Did you get an invite, Brianna?
Yes, and I threw it away because I heard that you didn't get yours.
Oh, thank you. Part of me was just like, this would be so odd if like all this push and stuff just to be like, I did it, guys. And now I'm going to do so much more. And there's just like no evidence behind any of this.
None.
The only thing that I saw in his breakdown of the things I'm going to do that I was like, okay, here's a number and here's like an action that you might take was the small business tax reduction.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that I was like, okay, well, that's a thing you can actually do. And that would be awesome. Like that would help. Like, I think it said something like it would actually help immediately 10,000 small businesses if he took that action. Do you want to explain what I'm talking about, John?
Yeah. This is actually very interesting. I think this might be like the sleeper hit of the whole proposal. He has proposed doubling the business license tax exemption from $50,000 to $100,000 in gross receipts. So basically, Portland has this business license tax. It's about 2.6% on net income. That's about a quarter of like the discretionary general fund of the city. So like it generates a ton of revenue for the city. But he's saying that like if he extends this exemption, that would mean that like you said, 10,000 small businesses could get this tax relief, which could really help, for businesses that are really sort of struggling to make ends meet. If this expansion of the exemption does go through, that could really help a lot of people. I mean, this isn't in motion yet. He still needs to like formally present this idea. He's sort of saying like, this is something that I'm interested in. But, he said it very publicly and news organizations and podcasts are now talking about it. So I think that he knows what he's doing. And this is probably going to be coming through, at least as a proposal at some point in 2026.
Yeah. What I would love to have heard, because he said a lot. He said like he gave a number of how many, 24 new detectives he wants to hire just to focus on break-ins and burglaries for businesses. Because as we know, businesses are not feeling safe with the response that had been happening in the past. I think things are getting better now, but still businesses are like, I'm giving you footage and you're not even following up. So this could exist and we just don't know about it. But I would love to hear about a task force that is going to focus just on all the empty buildings downtown and like what the city using their resources and what they could do about it. They could start thinking about policy through that lens. And, because that's what a task force usually does. It's like, okay, now we're going to make this issue our priority of some sort. And I haven't heard of that. And like, I think we need that.
Would you like to chair that task force, Claudia? Do you want me to put your name in the ring?
Yeah, please do.
Claudia's task force?
Claudia's team.
Claudia's team. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Policy solutions left and right.
Yeah, definitely. Nobody wants to be on that task force, John.
I mean, I will say, looking at these three big goals, though, I feel like a few of these are actually like we're already moving in the right direction, right? Like when we think about foot traffic, it is already trending up. And I think that, as people continue to feel excited again about downtown, plus like some of the new businesses and things that are going to be coming online, I think that like foot traffic rising is probably going to happen. Same with housing. I feel like we've sort of hit this crazy moment where housing got really bad. Construction costs were like really, really awful for a while. But now there's so much political will towards increasing housing. I could see that goal being hit pretty easily. I think the office space thing is going to be the hardest nut to crack, because we have such a huge supply of space. There are businesses and banks and like organizations that own this space. They can't just give it away. So sort of figuring out the math to like make it work to create leases that are going to be like functional for people, that's going to be tricky. So
Task force.
But a task force can do it.
You know, when you were like, what scare? I mean, maybe you alluded, but you're like, well, what would the name of your task force be? I like immediately got sent back to grade school when you started committees and everyone tried to come up with the coolest name. And then everyone's name was so dumb. It was just like Eagle, Wolf, Dragon, you know?
Help us out, listeners. What should the name of Claudia's task force be? Portland at citycast.fm.
Thank you.
Claudia's conspiracy clique.
That's just the show.
Well, John, thank you for looking into that. Let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, more headlines of the week.
So if you're running out of time looking for that perfect holiday gift, especially for someone who's long distance, Aura frames might be just the thing. Not only is it one of the best looking digital frames out there, but it has been named the #1 digital frame by Wirecutter, The Strategist, Wired, and PC Mag. I actually sent one myself as a gift for my mom, and she loves it. I'll send her pics, she can send them to me. You can even upload videos to the frame. And right now, for a limited time, you can save on this perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com and getting $35 off their best-selling Carver matte frames. You just have to use promo code CITYCAST when you check out. That's auraframes.com and use the promo code CITYCAST. Now, this deal is exclusive to our listeners, and the frames do sell out. So order yours now to make sure you get it in time for the holidays. And please, support the show by using that promo code CITYCAST at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is sponsored by Babbel. The idea of learning a new language can be scary. I felt overwhelmed by that. I bet you have too. I'm CityCast CEO David Plotz, and studies show that up to 90% of people trying to learn a new language give up. 90%. Fortunately, Babbel's built so that it's really easy to get started and really easy to stick with it. They understand that people learn differently. So maybe you can dive into a podcast on Babbel when you don't feel like a quick lesson, or you can speak out loud to get practice in, or you can explore courses based on specific topics and even create your own customized review lists, all within the Babbel app. Babbel has made learning a language all about small steps with real wins and progress you can actually track and feel. Bite-sized lessons that fit easily into your daily routine and are also easy to remember. Just 10 minutes a day is enough to start seeing real results. I've been learning Spanish with Babbel, and it's helped when I've traveled in Mexico, and it helps me eavesdrop on my son and my girlfriend when they speak Spanish to try to fool me. No más, mi corazón. However you learn best, by listening, speaking, reading, or writing, Babbel adapts to your style and keeps you motivated with personalized learning plans, real-time feedback, and progress tracking. And right now, here's a special limited time deal for CityCast listeners. Right now, get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/CityCast. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/CityCast. Spelled BABBEL.com/CityCast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Okay, guys, so this week I'm looking into how Nick Sorter, the right-wing conservative influencer who fancies himself a journalist, is threatening to sue the Portland Police Bureau for $10 million. I relied on reporting by Zane Splish Splash Sparling, who in my mind is still reporting somewhere in a tub fully clothed. You might remember that Nick Sorter was one of 3 people arrested outside of the ICE facility in October on suspicion of second-degree disorderly conduct, which is a misdemeanor. So basically, he and 2 people allegedly got into a physical fight. Police broke it up, arrested everyone involved, and he spent the night in our downtown county jail. 4 days later, after reviewing surveillance footage, the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office dropped the case saying Sorter had in fact been pushed into a drainage planner during a confrontation. So it was determined that Sorter was simply defending himself, so he was let go. Now Sorter is saying that his rights were violated and is bringing a federal lawsuit against our police department, accusing them all of being a bunch of liberal cooks. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. This is actually what the tort claim said. The city of Portland and its police department, sorry, I have to get through this. The city of Portland and its police department maintain a long-standing pattern and practice of hostility toward conservative political viewpoints and demonstrable tolerance, sympathy, or coordination with Antifa. His attorney also added, now, the number of lawsuits, including class actions brought against the Portland police for their handling of the city's mass civil unrest in 2020 would beg to differ. They were actually found to have used excessive force against protesters, journalists, medics, legal observers, using tear gas, rubber bullets, whatever they had. It resulted in millions and millions of dollars in large payouts. And I think I can safely say that not one police officer coordinated with the protesters they were beating and gassing, protesters that were labeled by conservative outlets as anti-fascist, though it was pretty much the entire city who was out in those streets. The other interesting tidbit I like to point out is that the civil attorney who is representing Nick Sorter and is threatening to take this all the way to the top is D. Angus Lee, who is a Vancouver, Washington lawyer who represented Joseph Gibson, the founder of the far-right political... Yeah.
Haven't heard that name in a minute.
I know. So for those who are just like, why is everyone gasping? He's a founder of the far-right political group Patriot Prayer, which has since been deplatformed and dissolved for inciting violence. For a handful of years, they would terrorize Portland. They would come down literally in pickup trucks and just start fights. But back in 2019, Joseph Gibson and his cronies were charged with felony riot charges by Multnomah County. He was acquitted of those charges due to lack of sufficient evidence, meaning the county couldn't stick the landing because everyone was sure they did it. Everyone's like, yeah, those guys, them, the ones who don't live here. The ones who don't, because by the way, Joseph Gibson also from Vancouver, Washington,
Yeah. As evidenced by all the thousands of social media videos that they took themselves.
I know. Anyhow, but see, this is what would happen after that. After he was acquitted, they got a little bold, and then Joseph Gibson and D. Angus Lee tried to sue Portland for $100 million, claiming political discrimination. Sounding familiar? And that lawsuit was promptly laughed out of existence by a federal court. So perhaps a view into a not-so-distant future for Nick Sorter and his counsel, but who knows?
Yeah.
What do you guys think of all this?
I mean, perhaps the most incredible move of the Trump administration is to make us all sympathetic to the plight and persecution of the Portland Police Department. That is not a curve that I saw coming.
Totally. I mean, not to reuse my joke, but are the liberal Antifa police officers in the room with us right now? Or invisibility cloaking themselves? Who the fuck is this guy talking about?
I also think it's so telling that, obviously, we went through this huge wave of protests at the ICE facility, but so many of the arrests and the sort of resulting lawsuits are based in skirmishes amongst the protesters themselves, right?
Yeah.
That's where this is coming from. This guy was getting into fights with other protesters, and that is ultimately what led to the arrest.
Yeah. What do you mean? What's so telling about it?
That the main issue, the main problem here is infighting amongst different groups of protesters with different ideologies about what is going on, right? It wasn't even about confrontation with the ICE officers. It was about fights amongst the protesters themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which honestly is what the big ICE protests always felt like. It felt like a lot of, it was important. A presence needed to happen, but it really was a lot of people kind of standing true to their political beliefs. And it really wasn't about ICE kidnapping people. I will say, fun fact, Sorter, who lives in Washington, D.C., has a DUI in Kentucky. Zane Sparling found this out in his home state and was also once arrested for menacing a police officer.
Oh!
The Lexington Herald Leader recently reported that he also violated the terms of his probation in a criminal mischief case and faces arrest if he returns home. So he can't go back.
Oh.
So Nick Sorter, really cool guy all around. Yeah, $10 million.
Wow.
I just also want to say, even though this is kind of infuriating and brain twisting, I do feel a certain amount of relief that this feels kind of remote. Right? That so much of what we felt for months of just the fiery instability of these protests and the threat of federal intervention isn't gone. Like, there is still actually movement happening with the en banc case at the Ninth Circuit, sort of underneath the surface. The real sort of huge fiery focus and push has slowed down a lot, which is like something nice to take stock of and to be like, we are in a calmer, more rational place than we were maybe 2 months ago.
Way to go, John.
You're like, good job, John.
It's like being on a boat and someone saying, oh, nice weather. Before a big journey. Yeah. So I don't know. My speculation is the case is not going to go anywhere. I think that they're just trying to squeeze 15 more minutes out of this.
Yeah.
Though the
Absolutely.
U.S. Department of Justice, the person who heads the Civil Rights Division there, has decided to also look into it. So a lot of smart people are on this case, guys.
Top minds.
They're going straight to the top. All right. Well, let's take a quick break here. When we come back, more headlines of the week.
It's executive producer John Notarianni here. You know, I love Portland, and I never feel more connected to this city than I do on a cold, rainy night this time of year, when you duck into a warm restaurant and find that the room is just alive with conversation and laughter. That feeling of connection with the city is why we created the CityCast Portland Neighbors program. CityCast Portland Neighbors is a way to support this podcast and keep it going, but it's also a way of getting more out of this city that we all love. When you're a CityCast Portland neighbor, you get an early look at the events that are coming up around town, a chance to shout out local nonprofits or businesses that you love, and you get to join us for members-only experiences around the city. Stuff like our upcoming Neighbors Night that's happening at the Hollywood Theater. It's a deeper way of living in Portland and a way of making local your top priority. You can join the CityCast Portland Neighbors program by going to membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. And you'll get a Portland beanie. Pretty cool.
This episode is brought to you by Mubi, where you can stream beautiful, hand-picked cinema anytime, anywhere. And right now, you can stream all the episodes of Hal and Harper, created by and starring Cooper Rife, alongside Lily Reinhart and Mark Ruffalo. It's a funny, heartfelt, and sometimes heartbreaking look at the bond between siblings and how growing up together can shape who we become. Critics are calling it profoundly relatable and pitch perfect. They're saying it's your next must-watch. And you can watch all of Hal and Harper and so much more exclusively on Mubi. Try it for free for 30 days on us. Just head over to Mubi.com/CityCast25. That's MUBI.com/CityCast25. All right, Brianna, our educational contributor at this point, what is going on?
Wild to say that. But yes, okay. I am bringing some reporting by Joanna Howe over at Willamette Week about the future of Portland's historically Black high school and how its future could hinge on white parents. So Jefferson High School, we all know Jefferson High School, they're in the midst of an enrollment crisis. And part of the reason that so few students attend Jefferson is because a lot of them are able to choose to go elsewhere. That's because since 2011, there's been a dual enrollment policy that has allowed students living inside Jefferson's historical attendance boundary to opt into one of three other high schools: Grant, McDaniel, Roosevelt, right? And those schools recently have become more alluring because they have all received really grandiose renovations, big Herculean renovations. Grant High School, for example, since its rebuild and reopening in 2019, has become Portland Public Schools' highest enrolled high school. It enrolls over 2,000 students, well above its intended capacity of 1,700. Now, that's 5 times the enrollment of Jefferson. Jefferson is PPS's least attended high school. It doesn't even have 400 students across all 4 grades. That is wild. So for the 25-26 academic year, there's 1,300 or so high school students that live in these boundaries. I live in these boundaries. And a lot of them opted not to attend Jefferson. It's the only historically Black high school in Portland. which in itself is really just a problematic idea and concept. But we're going to move past that for a second because the facilities are about to receive nearly $500 million in updates, courtesy of the bond measures of 2020 and 2025. But that does not change the enrollment problem. That remains. And these renovations and the ripple effects that they will undoubtedly cause, more faculty, more staff, like that shit doesn't happen overnight. So without a large influx of students, the district can't provide comprehensive programming. So Jeff is the only major Portland high school without standard high school AP placements or international baccalaureate coursework. It's got way fewer electives than all of its counterparts. Clock this. There are 11 electives offered at Jeff compared to 29 at the 3 other schools that participate in dual enrollment, right? So Jeff has like 2 career and tech education courses compared to 11 at Grant, 10 at McDaniel, 9 at Roosevelt. It has no advanced placement courses compared with 17 at Grant, 25 at McDaniel, 14 at Roosevelt. Okay, but sidebar, because this is my neighborhood. These are my boundaries. And I do love this area. Jefferson has this dope partnership with PCC, which is right across the street. So a lot of those students take advanced college coursework right over there at PCC. And I know this because I have been in classes with them and I've been like, why the fuck are those high schoolers in here? They are so annoying to me. Just like not really getting the overall of it.
Because they have no other choice. Oh my God, Brianna.
I know, I'm a dick, but just move past that. So
ignore me being a dick for a moment.
I just thought you were cool.
Just
if
ignore.
you can. It's like one of my better qualities if you can figure out how to make that make sense. Okay, so 2022 happens. The school board tells Superintendent Kimberly Armstrong that we got to develop a plan by 2027 and we got to fill Jefferson in preparation for this big grand reopening. But now no families want to send their kids to Jefferson. And we have to have a conversation about why. This conversation is not so much about policies, education. It is about systemic racism. It's about redlining. It's about gentrification. PPS is trying to fill a historically Black high school, and it's going to have to do that by wooing white parents in, arguably the most powerfully gentrified quadrant of the entire city. And this campaign to persuade these parents, if it does anything, it reveals all of these uncomfortable truths about how race has shaped Jefferson's trajectory. So Ethan Johnson and Felicia Williams wrote in the Oregon Historical Quarterly about how the school had trouble attracting particularly white students from its feeders, like all the way back in the 60s and 70s. Because parents deliberately ignored attendance boundaries. They deliberately sent their kids elsewhere. Then the next thing that happens is all of these policies that allow the Jefferson students to choose other schools. That's the core of this historically Black neighborhood. This is happening. While this neighborhood is being gutted by construction of the interstate, of Legacy Emanuel, of the Moda Center. And it's really like, it comes down to one quote that Joanna pulled from one of the parents. And it was it's so heartbreaking. It was like, they're not saying they don't want to send their kids to a Black school. What they're saying is that there's something in the DNA of this city that is maybe a lot of these white parents, they can't even clock it within themselves, is they don't want to send their kids to that school because they don't want their kids treated the way Black people have been treated in this city for generations. And that is the crux of the issue. They can pour all the money they want to into the school, but it's not going to solve racism. The big question, are we pouring all of this money into the school in the hopes that white families come in so that they can access it? Or are we pouring all this money into Jeff because we want to honor tradition, connection, community? We want to uplift the Black community and make sure that they're supported and keep that community strong and whole. But you know what? It's going to be years before my kid has to think about high school. So I'm just here to yell about it now.
Brianna, we might all be dead by then.
You know what? Tea. That's very much tea. Do we even have 5 years to figure this out?
Brianna's kid isn't that young, Claudia. What are you forecasting for the rest of us?
Sorry, John.
Well, she has a point.
I'm just saying. That's what I always, whenever there's a
Cool.
huge problem that I'm like, you know what? I could die.
But we're one climate catastrophe from really not being able to
It could
worry
be,
about any
yeah.
of this anyway.
It could not be a thing. I have like just 2 quick points. One, the article really frames it as white parents, having the majority of power in this situation, which I'm not fighting against in any way. But there were a lot of Black parents that were given the option to invest in Jefferson by sending their kids there, and they too opted out.
Right.
Because again, Jefferson, historically Black school, not given resources,
Yeah.
from the get-go, so they don't have as many cool things or AP programs. People want their kids to go to college. People want
Yes.
all the benefits. So a lot of Black parents are sending their kids to Grant. That is also a choice, and that is also power, but you can't blame them.
Team.
I also just want to say that Jefferson is already known for its prestigious dance program.
Right.
The Jefferson Dancers. I actually went to one of the shows.
Oh,
Tell us.
And it was, guys, it was so cute. You could just feel the community.
Mm.
And it was diverse. It wasn't just like, all Black kids. No, there were so many different people there. And I felt that connection of like, oh, this is why this school is so special.
Right.
Yeah. I also went to a performance at Jefferson High School recently. They have a very small choral program of just like a couple kids. So what the director did was bring in all these different organizations from across the city to sing with the kids.
Oh my God.
In this tiny choir in the Jefferson Auditorium. And I had the same feeling. I'm like, this is such a sense of community
Right.
and of dedication to this building, to this place, to this
To
school.
these kids.
It was really, really moving and just
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to add to that is, since Jefferson is already known for these art programs, I looked into it. PPS, we don't really have an art high school. So my alma mater is LOXA. That's the Los Angeles County High School for the Arts. It's a public school. It's a magnet school. It's non-district. Anyone could go there. They just have to jump through some hoops, get accepted, all this stuff. I already see a lot of similarities. Also partially situated in a college campus. PCC is right there. Turn Jefferson into an art high school.
Turn it into an art high school.
And you're going to need bouncers to keep them white children out.
Oh my gosh, you solved it, Claudia. Claudia solved racism. You guys.
Through art. But here's the deal. The catch is the admission protocol would have to be tweaked, because with LOXA, you had to audition for one of your art forms to get it. And we had a really prestigious academic program too. But it was one of the most diverse schools I had ever attended, guys. Not just racially, but because it wasn't bound by your district, by years of redlining, it was also socioeconomically diverse. So it was actually how I discovered that I was poor. That really did change my,
You're like, oh, that person has a lot of money.
I was like, oh, a billionaire, you say?
In LA.
Oh, your room is a house? Your room is a house.
Claudia, to your point, you pointed out that historically it's hard to fault parents for not wanting the best for their kids and to sending them to the schools that have the best electives, the best advanced classes, et cetera. And I sympathize with that as well. But I also think that it is a huge mistake for a family to not believe that a school can change, and to not be on board with a revitalized Jefferson, to just sort of flat out say Jefferson bad, not send my kid to Jefferson ever, is sort of entrenching that systemic racism that has gotten us to this point right now. And I think that PPS has a huge responsibility to make good on this change and to not have it just sort of be a change in name only, to really revitalize this school and to, in addition to these physical improvements of the building, to build up these programs very quickly, to bring in the types of electives, to bring in all of the amenities that exist at other schools at the same time, and to show that and to trumpet that so loudly to PPS. It's not going to be easy, and it is going to take some faith from the community to invest in this school. But it's so essential. I mean, and it is just so clearly if there's anything that is right to do, it is to be a part of that reinvestment in this community.
Exactly. And if anyone who decided to not send their child to Jefferson, I think you've lost the moral high ground and you can no longer participate in the white liberalism common thread.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah, totally.
Take down your BLM sign.
Totally.
You've lost your privilege to speak for the trees, so to speak. Because that's what white liberalism is. It's just getting offended for other people. when you have no literal skin in the game and you don't actually want to get uncomfortable. Well, that was a downer. Sorry, guys. Art unites.
Oh, no, wait. Yeah, no, art. Yay.
Art.
Yeah.
Well, before we head out, you guys, we have some shout outs from members of our Portland Neighbors program. One of the perks of being a paying member of CityCast Portland is the opportunity to shout out a local business or organization that you love. John, you want to kick us off?
I would be happy to. Our first shout out is from Jesse F., who wants to shout out the Southeast Portland bar and restaurant Lucky Horseshoe for having a great happy hour and phenomenal food every day. They've got well-made cocktails, professional and friendly staff who are genuine Portlanders and who love the neighbors and the people.
Awesome. I've been there. It's really nice. It's right next to the Clinton Theater. Aaron A. would like to shout out, support local nonprofit Phonograph Editions during its first appearance in the Willamette Week gift guide. Weird literature is good. And I looked this up because I was like, what are they talking about? And it's a nonprofit press and literary record label. That's what they call themselves. And I don't know why. I just found that really charming.
I also looked it up and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one more from Jason A., who said they actually became a CityCast neighbor to shout out Second Shape's bookstore in Kenton. They say that it embodies the kind of warmth, kindness, generosity, and community-building ethos that makes Portland so special. A great collection of books for any type of reader, plus an ever-growing calendar of events and experiences that cultivate sharing, learning, and neighborliness.
Yes. So shout out Jesse F., Aaron A., and Jason A. for becoming a CityCast Portland neighbor. A huge thanks to our newest members, Paul P. and Pamela L. When you join as a Portland neighbor, we'd also be happy to read your shout outs of places you love in Portland alongside a bunch of other perks like ad-free listening. Join Jason A. Become a member. Membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. Brianna, I know you have something coming up you want to share with everyone.
Ooh, I got a plug. I will be reading from my new book, How to Cannibalize Your Life for Fun and Profit, at Mother for Cults tonight at 7 p.m. for the release of Kevin Samsel's newest zine, 24 Days of Xmas. And there's going to be a couple of readers, and it's going to be a fun holiday treat.
You wrote another book already?
You wrote another book?
What do you think I'm doing over here?
Didn't you just write a book?
Sitting on my thumbs?
Oh my God.
Making us all look bad, Brianna.
I know.
Yeah, we've wrote 0 books. Oh, wow. That's so cool. Congrats, Brianna.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, everyone listening, thank you so much for hanging with us. We hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Claudia.
Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. Our podcast production team this week was John Notarianni, Julia Fiaioni, Francisco Kilgore, and myself. Our newsletter editors were Rachel Monahan and Natalia Altana, and our host is me, Claudia Meza. Original music by Jenny Conley and Stephen Drizos. Additional music by All the Kimonos, as well as Sarah the Instrumentalist, Timothy Infinite, and Gregory David, courtesy of Epidemic Sound, and Opal 99 and D-May, courtesy of Triple Scoop Music. We'll be back Monday morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.